I'm right back with another video. It's September 16th. Yeah, 2:36 p.m. Monday afternoon, and I am relaxing today. It's not a bad day today. Actually, my mood's okay. I mean, I'm still kind of like blah because there's not a whole lot for me to do. There is, but some of it's a lot of I am doing a lot of procrastination because, I've been dealing with this depression, but I get my housework done. I take care of myself. I make sure that my house is tidy. I don't leave things, messy. But like taking up projects, I have to do it when I feel it. Sometimes, I'll make up some art project or I'll work on sewing or whatever. But I'm not as fast and quick as I used to be because, I'll start something and then the depression comes and then I'll put it down and then, so it's a lot on me. But I was thinking about the topic. Now, this is more general talking. I'm not going to sit here and bash my former family, even though they deserve it, and I hate them intensely. But anyway, this isn't really so much about them. There's probably elements about this, but, I was doing some thinking, and it wasn't something that I was doing on purpose. It was just things that were coming through my head. I've been thinking about the arrangements of jobs that I have been put in. And, I'm starting to think, okay, well, somebody must have arranged this job, Obviously, my family's been arranging my job. But I keep thinking that because this whole thing blew up. I mean, it started off over at the place in Chatsworth, and then it blew up after the Christmas party over at the farmer's place. So I'm assuming that perhaps maybe, Stephen arranged that job at Murray Family Farms, and then my family invaded that space, perhaps. And the girl who was working with me served as a spy and obviously a double agent of some sort, and was talking to, my family, saying what I was doing when I was at work and this sort of stuff. And I get so tired of this crap, it's not even funny. But I know that, my family is very, what's the word? They're not like me. We're not the same. We never have been. I've always been different than them from the very get-go, which everyone who's been watching my videos understand this. But my family tends to think that, getting up, taking a shower, and putting on clothes that match is something, to gawk at, which I think is ridiculous. Sometimes when people don't care about certain things, they misjudge other people. And I've always been like this. I've always liked clothes. I've always liked, shopping for clothes. Even when I was younger, I remember when I got to a certain age, I said to my mom, it's like, well, I don't want to wear these clothes anymore. She was dressing me like, a little kid when I was 13, and I was just sick of it, right? So I've always had different interests than them, and which is fine. And, my mom never said anything about it. So obviously I know that this comes from either my ex-brother-in-law or both of my ex-sisters, because they want to change the rules. The family rules were when you're 18 you do what you want, and then all of a sudden when they're dealing with competitiveness and jealousy, they want to switch the rules. Like, I'm sorry, I never heard that rule. Okay, so this is a bullshit lie. But so anyway, while I was over at the farmer's place, what must have happened after the Christmas party, because at that time my ex-husband had moved back in with me, and so they were probably assuming and gossiping and saying that I was, associated with Stephen, when I had no idea he was even involved with that job, if he was the one who did arrange that. And they must have been gossiping and doing all kinds of stuff and thinking that everything that I did related to Stephen because he arranged the job, which still doesn't make sense to me. Number one, I had no idea my jobs were being arranged at the time at all, okay? I thought that, I had good skills and that I always conducted myself well, and I always turned in my task in time, and I was a model employee. So I thought that that was a good enough way of getting a job, mind you. So I thought that I had no idea this employment game was being played. But anyway, so I remember we were talking, and this girl who in the office, she was saying, well, when she would wear clothes that were far more elaborate than me. Okay, like I'm talking heels. Okay, I don't ever call wearing heels at the job, but still. And she was saying, well, I get dressed in the morning. I get dressed, and this is just for me. And I always said that it was just for me too. I mean, it always has been for me. I have been into clothes since I was able to allow and convince my parents to get my own style, and I could do my own thing. So anyway, she said, well, but I can say that for myself. And then she was kind of implying that I was doing this for someone else. And also I noticed that when I would go outside, the field labor women would congregate. It didn't matter what they were doing. The minute I walked outside, they were congregating and talking amongst themselves, pointing, talking, gossiping. So they must have thought that I was living with my ex-husband and I was somehow seeing Stephen at the same time. Okay? And so this is probably something that made my family very jealous. Okay, they probably thought they were extremely jealous of this issue, and so this is why all the attacking came and the accusations and everything else. I even remember my mother, when I went to visit her. I don't remember when it was, and she said, do you sit there and you flirt with your boss? And I looked at her like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't flirt with my boss, okay, ever. I have a good sense of humor. I have a good rapport. I like being bright and bubbly, and I'm like that with everybody. But she said that, and I kept thinking, okay, I started thinking, okay, well, maybe when I'm walking outside, and I see these field labor women, maybe they're assuming or gossiping because they think that I somehow am trying to, get in with my boss or something. Because some women will do that. They will do that sort of stuff, okay? I'm not one of those people, okay? I tried to earn my my keep there. I did everything I could to earn my keep there. I mean, I think I did a phenomenal job, and a great job. I mean, I did more than what was ever given to me. And so it literally broke my heart when I realized that I was being abused. Like, I would do things at work. I wasn't given credit. There was one time where this guy who was a friend of the owner stole my idea and presented it as his own, and I wasn't acknowledged. And it wasn't, and I told, my boss, I said, look, this was my idea. And it's not about me trying to get the credit to get a pat on my back. It's like, look, I have to take my work seriously because this is how I believed that you established yourself. It's important that you get acknowledgement, because this is important. This is what you're building your reputation. I didn't realize that the employment sector was so manipulated and so evil, and that people get overlooked, and this is advantage game, I guess, whatever. So I've been thinking today about all of this stuff that has gone on, and I'm not going to make any apologies for who I am. When I get dressed in the morning, I get dressed for myself. I do, and I find it very uplifting, and I do encourage people to do that themselves if that's what they want to do. And sometimes, when you deal with people who question, and I don't understand why they would question that motive, because I've always been like this, okay? I've always been like this, okay? So that bothers me. And then, the whole issue of this. So a lot of this stuff is swirling through my mind, and it's a lot for me to take in, because the trauma, the memories, the flashbacks, the accusations, the destruction that these people have done to my reputation, and as well as crushing my career aspirations and thinking they had a right to, is disturbing to me. It's disturbing. First of all, I would like to say that I had no idea that my jobs were being arranged. If I would have known that he was arranging my job, okay, first of all, let's break this down to this scenario, okay? If he was indeed the person who arranged my job there, okay, how, and I don't know about it, okay, he's not physically on the premises, okay, he is not walking on the farm, he's not coming into my office, so why in the world would I bother trying to get fixed up for him? Okay, and most of the time I did wear jeans, okay, I would wear a decent top and some jeans, okay, which is my normal stuff, and they're probably referring to the hair, the wig. Well, the thing is that I've been doing that since 2006, so I was wearing the hair, unless of course Stephen Lyles arranged my job going back then. I don't know. I have no idea how long this goes back, but I often wonder, I understand that my targeting is clearing up and I'm very grateful for it, but the thing is that it has left me with this feeling of, I want closure. I want closure. And I feel as though the people who got involved, meaning my demonic family, ex-family, I'd like to add, I think that, if anybody with half a brain can look at this and see where the motive was, that it was an act of abuse. And that, because I don't care how you put it, there's no way you can deny that. And so this isn't about me pointing the finger. It's like, this is to describe, to understand that this has really done a lot to me on a lot of levels. Like emotionally it has, because, they cut you off from things. They think that they have the right to isolate you, choose your shitty jobs, whatever. They think that they have the right to crush your dreams and set standards for you and all this other stuff. And that to me is terrifying, because it's like, these are my rights. This is what I like to do. This is what I like to do for a living. These are the things that I need in order to survive. And when somebody's cutting them off and then bringing you into job interviews to harass you over something that, it's like somebody dangling your life in your face and then laughing at you, that's sick. That is a sick person, okay? And how they convince other people to do this for them, it bothers me, okay? It's a thought that's always swirling in the back of my mind. It will always do that. And I also wonder, why I try to figure out, well, how did this happen? How did this happen? Why would somebody, I would never do this to anybody. I would never be so bold and so brazen and arrogant to think that I had the right to choose somebody's job. I would never do that, ever, okay? And then say, and completely disregard what I need in order to live. Or even worse, even the most arrogant part is to decide what I need to live. I mean, it's devastating. If there's somebody who it's never happened to them, it's like, it's just stuff that kind of like, well, I don't see why you're so upset about it, because I'm in a situation where I feel like I'm not living my life to the fullest. I'm not living my life to the fullest, and that's what I need in order to be happy. Okay, I have to be somebody who enjoys their job. That is so important to me, because I knew when I was younger, it's like, I remember working different jobs. I mean, many young people remember working fast food or working retail or doing this kind of stuff. And I remember I couldn't wait till the day was over. And of course, they were always there sabotaging the jobs that I did have, that I hated, okay? So I decided when I got older, it's like, I know how important it is for me to like my job, especially when I have responsibilities. Because when you hate your job, okay, and you have responsibilities, that is hell on earth. It is hell on earth. So I have a good sense of myself. I understand what I need in order to be happy. Okay? And these people want to dictate to you what you need to make you happy. Okay? And there is no justification for that. They're going to sit there and try to use the excuse, well, you know, we're a family, we stick together. First of all, that's not what my mother said. Okay? So you get these jealous bitches who want to make up rules and expect a grown-ass woman who's almost 50 years old to follow their absurd rules. You know, also, I think that part of their investigation, their illegal investigation of, you know, having people who are around me spy on me and report back and all this stuff, is that they're trying to prove a point. They're trying to prove a point. They're trying to say, well, you know, they, first of all, okay, I have every right to wear my hair the way I want to. Okay, it's presentable for an employer. But they feel as though they harassed me at work. It wasn't just about the hair. It was about me working my ass off. And that's what broke my heart the most. Working my ass off, okay? Doing things and then not getting any acknowledgement for it. Instead, I'm getting garbage. Okay? I'm getting, you know, mistreated. I'm getting abused. People are stealing my shit. And it's pissing me off. And it hurts, okay? Because this is all I have. This is it. I don't have anything else. This is the only thing I have. Now, that's not necessarily like, what do you call it? I'm not a millionaire, okay? But it's an asset that I need to survive, okay? It is, my work is my asset. It's an asset to me. My skills, my abilities are what I need in order to keep a roof over my head and make sure that I get properly buried in the ground when I drop dead, okay? Just to have that order in my life. And these people tried to take that away from me in a way that was so abusive and so, like, unbelievably inhumane, you know, that I do go through it. I go through it on a daily basis. Like, what is wrong with these people? What's wrong with it? They can't have, they have, anyway, about the investigation. So they were probably trying to say, well, and then most of these employment investigations are illegal, okay? They're usually, they're legal. They are illegal, okay? Because really, basically, the only thing that they try to do is, sometimes they get a character reference, okay? Or they contact your previous employers, okay? This is how they get to know about you, all right? And it's all supposed to be business related. It's not supposed to be about, you know, did she have a child out of wedlock? You know, did she have a problem when she was 12 years old? None of those things are relevant. So oftentimes when these sort of investigations are going on, they're initiated by the original perp/stalker, but they will help. They will ask for the assistance of certain employers to help them get this done. So I think that my family wanted to make this a legal issue, and they had it completely mixed up, okay? The issue is that I was harassed by them. I left the company and was behaved and never said anything about it, except for the time that I went to the metaphysical place, and I didn't tell them where I worked. I didn't tell them any specific details. I just said, I'm not in a good mood today because I had this issue at work, blah, 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 blah. I never said anything about my employer to any job representative. I never said it in any job interviews. I really did everything I could to uphold the confidentiality contract that I had signed over at that place. So I didn't do a damn thing, okay? But yet these people continue to follow me over and over and over again, sabotaging each and every job, every single last one. And then they got so bold to give me shitty jobs, and then, you know, that I didn't deserve, you know. And after working so hard over at the farmer's place, you know, I just felt like, my God, how much more can these people abuse me? And then they sit there and think that they have the right to dictate who I see, who's my friends, you know, whether or not this, you know, Stephen can see me or not. These people, to me, are extremely mentally off. Okay, I know Tanya's been mentally off, but I think that my sister Lisa, my ex-sister Lisa, I think she's also mentally off too. Okay, her jealousy is so deep and hard, it blinds her. Okay, and then I also think that the main monster is her husband. Okay, I don't know, I rarely have seen that man in the last few years. I rarely see him, but he feels as though, women are supposed to be a certain way. And he can do that to his wife, but don't do that to me. Okay, so the whole thing anyway, I didn't mean to go on about some of the things I talked about before. Okay, but certain thoughts, memories start coming up to my mind, and I start putting things together. And it matters to me because I feel it's like somebody took an asset from me, abused me in front of everyone, meaning that these people knew exactly what I was doing, and I had no help whatsoever. Not one person lifted their finger to help me. Okay? And I witnessed, people who were criminals holding decent positions when I know that I deserve more. Okay? And I was unfairly treated and illegally reassigned or whatever by these people, my jealous family, ex-family. So it's a lot on me. Okay? It's a lot. So I think about these things, and I talk about them on my video to, number one, kind of use it as a journal entry, and also just to express it, because I get emotionally overwhelmed at times, because it's like I can't even understand how somebody would be so warped. And then how people who were around, like in the neighborhoods, and then these employers that were helping these people, how is it that they couldn't step in and just call the police department, or call the Agency for Human Trafficking, and throw these motherfuckers in jail? How is it that they couldn't have done that? You know what I mean? It's like the mind control that goes on with people. And this whole idea of somebody who they think could possibly be deserving of having some sort of right or say-so over a grown woman. It's sick. I mean, I live in a very sick world, and I'm aware of it. So I try to take care of myself and be aware, and it has affected me mentally, meaning it affects my mood, it affects my, outlook. And it's hard to pick yourself up when you're constantly dealing with somebody who has abused you for decades. Not just, hey, sticks and stones, but you yank my asset. It's my asset. I don't care who fucking arranged the job. It's my labor. Okay, I signed a contract. It's between me and the employer. What makes you think that you have the right to tell me how I'm supposed to make my money? You know what I mean? Or how I'm supposed to spend my money? It's none of your business. I never asked it. I could go on and on about this, but I'm sorry. I'm going to shut this video off because I'm really upset right now, and I really just need to calm down. So anyway, this is my entry for today. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.